to Tales Between Old Friends, a podcast where we share lighthearted pet stories and answer your pet care questions with the help of experts. I'm Devin, your host and fellow dog mom and dog lover, and joined by Billy, our producer and dog dad
Hello.
extraordinaire, with our special guest, Dr. Erin Brown, the chief vet in charge and co-founder of Heartstrings Pet Hospice. Hello, everybody.
Hello. I'm excited.
How is everyone? Having a good
Good.
day?
It's a good day.
Quick shout out to our sponsor, Heartstrings Pet Hospice. Saying goodbye to a pet is one of the hardest things we face. At Heartstrings Pet Hospice, we believe every pet deserves compassion, dignity, and respect in their final days. With in-home hospice care and peaceful euthanasia, we help pets and their families through this journey with love and support, right where they're most comfortable. Because every pet's goodbye should be filled with kindness and care. Heartstrings Pet Hospice. Compassion, dignity, respect. Our first story today is from Bulky Opportunity 580. What's the most absurd thing your dog has ever declared an enemy? My dog has a deep personal vendetta against cardboard boxes. Not burglars, not the doorbell, just innocent, lifeless boxes. The second one enters the house. Full security alert. Meanwhile, a total stranger could walk in and she wouldn't even blink. So now I need to know, what's the most ridiculous thing your dog has ever decided was a serious threat? Bonus points if it's something so harmless that you still can't figure out why they hate it. Let's compare notes on these highly questionable judgment calls. My last dog, Savannah, loved to destroy boxes. I mean, they were definitely the enemy. She also didn't like if I hugged people.
Protective of you.
But it could have been one of her favorite people. Like, my brother could have come over and she loved that. But if we hugged, she was like, don't touch my mom.
Rocky would, he would tear up anything paper, receipt, paper, or anything that was out. The most frustrating thing. But then he was more afraid, like would run away from balloons. He did not like balloons at all. Yeah. Whether they are floating or on the ground, he was like, hell no. No thank you. Like, yeah, pretty benign, but he didn't like it.
Charlotte's like fearful of blankets, but she definitely destroys them when she's left to her own devices. Like, threads them into confetti.
Yeah.
They don't last longer than a week.
Don't like comfort.
I like how Erin, your dog was anti-taxes, eating up all the receipts.
Completely.
Like, yeah. I'm sorry, but you're not going to long file this year.
No deductions. Yeah. Good luck trying to get a return. Yeah.
Thank God we can do all of that digitally now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So our next story is from OK Edition 7875. My dog is getting old and I'm scared I'm running out of time. My family adopted a golden retriever puppy when I was 12 years old. I have vented a far bit of trauma on Reddit, but to sum it up, I've had a very difficult time trusting people. My dog really bonded with me and helped me process my emotions. His care and worry for me has saved me so many times. I feel soul bonded to him in a way I've never felt before. His patience and willingness to just exist with me has kept me from many panic attacks, and I can talk to him about my problems. We grew up together, and he's made me a better version of myself. I'm coming to the realization that I'm seeing him age. I'm turning 21 this year, and he's turning 9. He's already had surgery for one tumor in the past year, and I just got the news from the vet that he was diagnosed with another mass tumor cell. I have faced a lot of hardship in my life, and there's very few things I'm not brave enough to confront. However, in all the time I've had my dog in my life, this has been the thing I couldn't start to acknowledge. He will die. I'm going to outlive him. Now I'm thinking about how I spend my time with him before he's gone and how I'll learn to grieve without him.
That's a tough one, and I see that a lot in the families that I help, where they either like already had a pet or a pet came into their life in like a critical time when they were grieving or struggling or panicking or whatever happened, and so that pet became really really family and therapist and a counselor and a buddy and all these things, and then they're have to say goodbye to them eventually, and that's so hard. But I like to try to think of it as, well, they came into your life at a certain time for a reason and got you through this difficult time, maybe taught you some coping mechanisms. And then now they're like, all right, you're good. I'm good to go on, move on the next adventure. And you got it from here. That's how I try to think about it.
That was my Savannah.
Yeah.
I got her at the start of what I didn't realize was an abusive relationship. And we made it through that relationship. Pretty sure he abused her too, but we got through it. And then we went through the loss of my best friend from college and a few other close friends and family. And then when I lost her, it opened up all of those old wounds, and I was a mess. So my brother and his husband had the shirt I'm wearing made for me by a friend. I have a necklace on with her ashes in it, and then I have her paw print and snoot print tattooed on my arm. So she's with me all the time. She's my girl.
I can relate in the sense of being 12 all the way through. If the golden's 9, you're probably looking, up until you're about 21, 22. Like you've done a lot of different things. You've gone through high school, possibly college. You're about to finish college.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of stuff going on. So I can completely understand that. It's tough, but I do believe, it's one of those things where you still have that time, and as long as they are, capable, maybe it's a little bit of sprinkled cheese on their food. It's a few extra goodies here and there to make those last few moments, memorable for you, and kind of help ease that tension that's kind of coming with the realization of what's going on.
Mhm. I think that was one of the best things that I did do was I only had a week with her before I had to say goodbye. It was a very sudden, she went blind suddenly. A month prior, the doctor said her vision was fine. So it happened very quickly. Um, but for whatever in my brain, I went, I want to do an art project and I want forever art. So I went to Michael's and I got two canvases for me to have and one for my brother and his husband to have because we always traveled together. And they have two poodles, and I had my little pitty Savannah, and we would go. We've done road trips up and down the East Coast with the dogs, and the three of them would spoon in the back seat together, and they were we did all sorts of trips together. They were always together. We did ice cream parties, whatever. But I wanted forever art, so I took the canvases and I put them side by side and did her paw prints in her colors that I decided were her favorite. And so the paw prints overlap on the canvases, so if they don't ever want it, like if they decide they don't want the art anymore, I can put them together, or vice versa. You can put the two pieces together and they complete each other, but separate, they still look cool. And so we didn't get to put the poodle paw prints on there yet, but we're going to do that while I'm in town, and finish up the art. So we'll have our forever art with our pups. And right before we said goodbye, I got one pink paw print from Savannah and one pink snoot print, and it's in different spots on the art. So that'll be the only snoot print on there is my girl.
Oh, I love that.
It's where my brain goes now. It's been 19 months, and that's where my brain goes, is doing that fun art project and having the ice cream party and her getting prime rib because I never gave her people food except for like non-fat Greek yogurt. So, it's those things like that we create those memories that our brain's going to go back to after the grief is kind of settled. Because, I mean, grief isn't, there's no stopping point. The grief monster is going to pop up periodically. But, when you have those fond memories, your brain's going to go back to that positivity versus having that sad time. So this is a part I'm really excited about in our podcast. We are going to meet Dr. Erin Brown and talk about what you do and why you do it. Hi, Dr. Erin.
Hi.
So I have a couple questions for you. Be open, honest, just have fun with it. So what led you to being one of the co-founders of Heartstrings Pet Hospice?
Yeah, so I fell in love with this kind of work and with helping families, during a really difficult time in their lives and kind of coaching them through, how to make this end of life decision and coaching them through hospice and then of course afterwards. And so I just felt like with the mission of service in mind, service to the families, and then service also to our vets. We employ. I want to make sure they're cared for. Those two things in mind. It's kind of started Heartstrings. And we really hold true to that, along with our mission of compassion, dignity, and respect. We want to kind of put that to our families that we help, as well as our staff, our doctors, and make sure, that they're cared for just as well as our families are.
I love that. So that was kind of your inspiration behind starting the whole thing as well. What gap in veterinary care did you see that led you to create Heartstrings?
Well, I definitely felt like we needed more companies, more vets out there doing this kind of work. There's definitely a need,
Mm-hmm.
and families don't necessarily always know that hospice is available or end of life care at home is available. And so, part of this is educating families that this is an option, whether they go with Heartstrings or not. But, I think the more people know, the better. So the need for the families was there, and then I also felt like we needed more voices within the veterinary community that were positive and that
Mm-hmm.
were advocating for vets when we sometimes aren't treated the greatest. We sometimes are not treated like doctors, or not sufficiently paid, or sometimes people think that we're just out for money, and we really aren't. We're here because we love what we
Yeah,
do, and we chose this career for that reason. And so I felt like, one, obviously helping families, that's number one, and then having the service to the families, but, also kind of contributing to a more positive culture in our industry as well.
I love that. How does Heartstrings reflect your personal values and beliefs about pet care?
Hmm. I think Heartstrings definitely emphasize, obviously, that end of life period, which is still a time in our pets lives that we need to um, kind of take take care of and kind of hold as like an important thing, because you're honoring that human animal bond, that all those years that you spent together, and then now it's like, okay, we're back to almost like puppyhood, where we're having to take care of them a lot more, and so I think it's important on family side to kind of hold that time of their pets' lives dear, and not only caring for them, taking away pain, making sure they're nutritionally balanced, but also, doing some bucket list sort of items, and to make sure that we're honoring all those years together and that bond together. And so I think, that's always been really important to me. And I think that as a vet, obviously we do, lots of things, preventative care, surgeries, dentals, all these things that are so important. And I think sometimes that the end of life is forgotten, or it's just kind of brushed off. And so I've always felt like it was kind of a big job, a big part of being a vet. We still have to take care of them at end of life, and so highlighting that, as a career choice and a business, I think is really important. It's definitely um, uh, needed for our families.
I feel like no matter whether it's a pet or a human being, it's talking about end of life care is something people are afraid of, and it's one of those hush hush topics. And I think if we got more comfortable talking about it, it would be easier for people to plan properly, and you would
Right.
know certain wishes, and there would be a bigger education piece there. I mean, I didn't know hospice care even existed for pets.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so I think what you do is absolutely incredible. I think um, veterinarians are magical humans. Not only are you working with pets, but you have to know every aspect of animals' bodies and how they work. Our human doctors specialize in certain things, but you have to know it all. You have to know every aspect of it from start to finish. And
Mhm.
I don't know. I appreciate what you do. I think you're magical.
Thank you.
What challenges did you face in starting a pet hospice, and how did you overcome them?
Well, I think challenges starting Heartstrings, wasn't too different from kind of starting any business. It's always a lot of hard work, where you're not just doing your job, you're doing lots of jobs. And going from, being an associate to, being, a boss, it's a big leap. And so becoming, more responsible for, other people and their roles, and then kind of creating protocols, creating SOPs, all these kind of background things that people were doing, I wasn't doing, and so now I'm part of that. And while it's definitely a lot of work and a lot of lost sleep, and certainly some tears thrown in there too, it's been a challenge, but like a good challenge, and it's been a really good adventure. And honestly, meeting so many people, not only those that I work with, but the families are wonderful. There's a lot of joy, and then there's a lot of reward that's been happening with Heartstrings and starting this whole adventure.
I love that. What impact do you hope Heartstrings will have on pets, families, and the veterinary community?
I definitely hope that we educate, as many families as we can, just that hospice is an option. I don't think, enough people know about it and explore that as an option. And so I hope that Heartstrings contributes to kind of that spreading of knowledge, so that, we can help pets in their end of days and keep them supported and pain free as possible, to have more of those good days than bad days. And I think that brings some comfort to families as well. And then, definitely in the veterinary community, I want our vets to, learn more too about hospice care. I don't think all vets know about hospice care, or at least all the ins and outs of it. And so, helping other vets kind of learn more about that, as well as contributing to a more positive side of the culture, kind of helping our support our vets.
You're able to advocate for your veterinarians. Like your last job, you couldn't be an
Right.
advocate, and now you get to
Yeah.
advocate for your people and make sure that
Yeah.
your vets are taken care of. You're the co-founder. Like your focus is on taking care of the vet side of things as well as the families. Like the corporations get involved, and it then becomes
Right.
about numbers, and you don't want it to be a numbers thing. You want it to be a comfortable, flexible place for people to be able to work.
Right.
And
Right.
you have been in some situations where it wasn't that, and you want to create this brand that people are excited to go to work and know that they're going to be taken care of and backed by their employer. And you get
Right.
to create this incredible environment.
It's a big part of why we started Heartstrings, why we are bringing on the vets that we're bringing on, is advocating for the vets, and making sure that they all feel appreciated, that they all feel heard, that they
Hmm.
all have a voice, and that we're not just numbers, we're not just treated like a worker bee, that we do have knowledge and experience, and we all need to work together. I mean, why fight each other, why, you know, argue or try to work against each other. It just doesn't make any sense. I think we all should support each other. And so being able to spread that, kind of feel, I hope that it makes a difference.
It sounds like you're creating a company that's going to have a great work-life balance, and
Yeah.
people are going to be able to kind of be their own boss in a sense, but still have people backing them if there's a position or a situation that comes up. There's people there to protect them and,
Yeah.
help them through the process. And
Yeah.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, I've definitely taken on the responsibility of like fighting for our vets. Like if they have any issues, I want to be there in their corner. I want to be coaching
Hmm.
for them. I want to be, with, using my voice to kind of speak up for them to make sure everyone's heard. I'm certainly not afraid to kind of speak my mind and be open and honest. And so I will use that for all of vets as well. I'm happy to do that.
I love that. Thank you, Dr. Erin. You're amazing. I appreciate you coming on and speaking with us today about co founding Heartstrings Pet Hospice. It sounds like you are creating an incredible place to work and a wonderful place that is going to support its doctors um, to do the best that they can do and feel the most comfortable and have a good work life balance. Have one more story for us today. Ooh. It's from Vegetable Slip 5267. What a great name. Puppy Blues.
Aw.
My family got a 10-week-old Labradoodle 2 days ago. She's the sweetest, most adorable pup I've ever encountered. Despite this, I can't help but feel like I made a huge mistake. I'm so tired, feeling overwhelmed. We have 3 kids that I'm feeling guilty for, although they absolutely adore her. I'm just worried I made a huge mistake and I have no one to talk to because of the fear of judgment. I tried to get a puppy 10 years ago and it just didn't work out. I rehomed her to a wonderful family who I still keep in touch with, and she's living her best life. No one close to me has let me live that down, and I think it's adding so much pressure to me now that I can't talk about this with anyone around me because they just judge my choice. Does it get better? I can't help but cry, feeling guilty and silly writing this.
Mhm.
But I think a big thing that she needs to think about is talking with her partner about it. Like, hey, I feel like this is all falling on me and I need your help. And getting the
Mhm.
kids involved in it so that you don't feel so overwhelmed. I mean, if you have super small children, they can help feed the dog.
Mhm.
The older ones can help, with the brushing and the washing and all that kind of stuff. Yes, you still have to supervise, but it needs to be a whole family effort and not just fall on mom. Like, puppies are hard. They're babies. Like, you have to be there every step of the way. I mean, I adopted a dog at a year old and she was still very puppy brained and we had to out train all the street. Like, she
Yeah.
was free range for a long time and I had to get her so that she was comfortable in a home and would follow the rules and whatnot. So, maybe bringing in a trainer to help with the basics with obedience and whatnot would also help take some of that stress off too. So it's just a little baby.
Yeah. She's definitely not alone. I mean, she's the other people this has happened to, and in the past, present, future, and I think the biggest thing is recognizing the care for that puppy or any pet, and whether or not, you're capable of providing the best care. So what do? You find where that puppy can be cared for the best, and that's another way that we're caring for them, right? Is placing them in a home
Hmm.
that's better. And I think of alternatives, like what could happen. The dog could be out on the street, could be hit by a car, could all these horrible things that can happen. But, if you're taking on the responsibility of that pet and either, taking it in, caring for it for its whole life versus taking it in, realizing it's not a good fit, but then finding an appropriate home, that's just another way that you're caring for them. So I think if all the focusing on the negative and these people saying negative things, you don't need them in your life. Life is hard and unexpected things happen. And if it doesn't work out and you find a great home for that dog, then that's a win.
Absolutely. Totally agree. Well, thank you both. for hanging out with me today and talking all things pets. And thank you to our sponsor, Heartstrings. Thank you, Dr. Erin, co-founder of Heartstrings, for being here and chatting with us. It's been fun. I loved our stories, and I can't wait to see you guys again soon. Make sure everybody that is listening likes, subscribes, and definitely leaves us a 5-star rating. And everybody tell your pets that we said hi, because that is important, because we do. All right, we'll see you guys next time.